They say some nights don't knock on your door. They walk straight into your heart. That night was one of them. You won't believe it, but around midnight, footsteps echoed across the old wooden floor, bare, gentle, dragging slightly, like someone carrying centuries of exhaustion. The air smelled faintly of salt and damp earth, and something in that mix awakened an unexplainable unease. Only a small lantern flickered in the corner, its trembling flame warning us silently. Outside, the storm raged, but inside, something far heavier pressed against the air. And the reason for that weight was the small silver bowl on the threshold. A bowl holding just 2 handfuls of salt. Simple, ordinary salt. But nothing about that night was ordinary. Grandmother had said once, "Child, never underestimate that bowl. It watches, it listens, it guards the doorway. Salt doesn't lie." Yet tonight, the salt had changed color, a pale, smoky tint, as if a shadow had settled over it. I thought maybe it was the storm, but then the footsteps came again. Soft, slow. The floorboards creaked, and then someone exhaled, a long, heavy breath, so deep that the pounding of my heart felt loud in comparison. Gathering courage, I pulled the door open. There was no one, but the air felt warm, strange, like someone had just passed by, like someone was standing between our world and another. My eyes drifted back to the bowl. The salt now glowed faintly, quivering with light. Suddenly, Grandmother placed her hand on my shoulder. "Do not fear," she murmured. "Tonight, the one we've been calling for has come." I froze. "Who has come, Grandma?" She smiled a small, knowing smile. "The story that wants to be told has arrived." Grandmother's Tale, The Sentinel of Salt. Grandmother began in a calm, steady voice. In the days of our ancestors, when the world was not as bright as it pretends to be now, people didn't see salt as mere seasoning. They saw it as a sentinel, a guard that sits at the threshold and recognizes every shadow that passes. "Salt?" I whispered. "Yes," she nodded, "because salt does not rot, it does not decay, it remembers. It carries purity, it knows intention, and above all, salt reveals truth." Before I could say anything, she added, "The visitor tonight is not here to harm. It is a message, a sign that something important is about to begin." The strange happenings. This wasn't the first odd thing to occur. In the last week, moisture appeared on walls without reason. The clock stopped every night at 3:15. Our dog refused to cross the threshold. Grandmother whispered to the wind each evening. I believed they were coincidences, but tonight felt like the explanation behind every coincidence was standing right outside our door. The second knock. As I stood there, a sudden wind pushed the door slightly open, and I saw it, a long, stretched shadow on the floor, but no person casting it. Grandmother closed her eyes as if she'd been expecting this. "It is time," she whispered. "Time to tell you the truth." I swallowed hard. "Who is he? What does it want?" Her eyes shone with something deep. Fear? Wisdom? Both? "Listen, child. Every home has a threshold that is not entirely seen, a line where light and darkness play tug of war. Tonight, your threshold has awakened." The truth unfolds. Grandmother picked up an old red book from the table. Its cover carried a thin layer of ash. Inside, it lay a single sheet of parchment. On it was written, "A home is protected by 4 things: prayer, breath, memory, and salt." She looked at me and said, "When you were born, I placed salt on the threshold, not as a superstition, but as a witness, so nothing unclean could touch your destiny. But now you've reached the age where the guardian of the threshold must speak to you directly." My voice trembled. "But what is out there now? Who is it?" "The truth," she said next, "I was not prepared for. It is not darkness, child. It is your calling. It is the force that shapes destinies. It comes only when a life is about to change completely. But to reach the light, one must first endure a little darkness." The light goes out. Just as she finished speaking, the lantern's flame stretched tall, then shrank and died. Darkness swallowed the room, except for one thing: the bowl of salt. It glowed white, like a piece of moon trapped in metal. The shadow from outside slowly entered the house, but as it neared the threshold bowl, the salt flared, bright enough to blind for a second. Grandmother's voice turned sharp. "Enough! Speak your message, but step no further." The shadow quivered, as if taking shape, like smoke gathering into a form held by invisible hands. And then a soft voice emerged. "The time has come." My throat tightened. "Time for what?" The shadow replied, "Time for truth to awaken. Time for your path to shift. You are not who you think you are." My knees weakened. I sank to the floor, breath trembling. "What are you talking about?" The shadow spoke again. "Your name carries a purpose sleeping inside it. Your bloodline holds an unfinished story. You stand at the threshold of change, a threshold guarded for years by prayer and salt and a grandmother who knew." I looked at Grandma. She didn't deny it, didn't look surprised. She only nodded slowly. "Child," she said softly, "some destinies don't come quietly. They arrive like storms. And tonight, your storm has come." Star. The revelation. The shadow lifted a hand-like form, pointing toward the glowing salt. "Its salt remembers you," it said. "It remembers every fear, every question you silenced. Now you must cross your threshold, not as who you have been, but as who you must become." My voice cracked. "And who is that?" The shadow whispered, "The one who carries light, even when the night is thick." A warmth spread through the room. The salt glowed brighter, as if recognizing something inside me. Grandmother touched my cheek. "You were never meant to live an ordinary life. I kept the threshold guarded until you were ready to hear it." The shadow added, "Your journey begins at dawn." Then, slowly, its form loosened, blurred, and dissolved into the air, like dust caught in sunlight. The salt's glow softened back to white. The room returned to stillness, but nothing felt the same. The final words. Grandmother whispered, "Child, fear not. Some nights don't come to haunt, they come to wake." She took the bowl of salt, held it toward me. "This is not just salt. It is memory. It is truth. It is preparation. Now you must walk the path your destiny has been whispering all these years." The storm outside slowed. The silence deepened. The threshold shimmered still, as if light waited there. and I finally understood. The visitor had not come to frighten me. It had come to open the door to the person I was meant to become.